Okay, welcome everyone. So you've probably been told introverts are very shy, antisocial, and extroverts are very loud and outgoing. You are actually wrong. Okay, so in regards to the MBTI, there's actually a more precise way to actually tell if someone is an introvert or an extrovert. Okay, so this is a main misconception. So if your knowledge of MBTI is the 16 personality tests or any other type of test or like just the basic knowledge of stereotypes, most likely you probably don't understand what introverts and extroverts are. Okay, so today I'm going to explain it. Essentially, this comes down to if you pay attention to someone in the conversation, do they initiate or do they respond? Okay, so this allows that for people to be extrovert even though they're kind of reclusive, and even if people are outgoing, they can still be introverted. It really just comes down to this very simple concept of in a conversation, does someone initiate or does someone respond to a topic? Okay, so introverts tend to stay on topic, extroverts tend to change topics. Okay, so think introverts mean shy. Think again. We've all heard it before. Introverts are antisocial wallflowers, extroverts are party animals. But what if everything you think about personality types is completely wrong? Okay, this is the main topic of the video. Okay, so the stereotypes we believe: quiet, reserved, avoids parties, prefers books over people, can't be a good leader. Extroverts, loud, life of the party, never needs alone time, always confident, outgoing. Even though both introverts and extroverts can adopt both of these traits, this with the MBTI, it's actually has nothing to do with a lot of this. Okay, these are more stereotypes. What the MBTI really measures, it's about initiating and responding in conversations. Okay, so MBTI introversion extroversion describes how you start and sustain interactions with the world. So someone like me who's an extrovert, I tend to initiate topics. So whenever I'm talking with my friends, I'll normally bring up something, or I'll get insanely bored if they tend to stay on topic, and after a while, I'll want to bring up something else. Okay, so the real question is, where does your mental energy naturally flow when you engage with others? Okay, it's conversation style, not personality. Okay, so extroverts are the initiators. They start conversations naturally. Um, a lot of times when you're around extroverts and it's really quiet, they'll probably be the first person to talk. Okay, they are normally the ones that when it happens to me as well, when everyone's quiet, I'll just say anything for the sake of saying something. Okay, just to get the conversation starting. I talk to think out loud, process ideas externally, comfortable with immediate responses, interrupts people. Okay, so that's a huge thing. Okay, so especially if you have a bunch of extroverts in a conversation or a debate, you'll always hear them interrupting each other. Okay, if you watch someone like a Destiny, who's also ENTP, he tends to initiate over other people. Okay, he will ask a question, and then as soon as they answer, halfway through their point, he will just start talking again. It's very extrovert, even though if you look at him as a streamer, he tends to be a gamer. He stays on his computer a lot. No, he is still an extroverted. Okay, so the extroverts like myself, they get frustrated when they cannot start their point. This is something I get a lot when other people are talking. I really want to say something and I can't wait. I just have to blurt it out, even if I'm not meant to. I'll just start talking. Introverts are the opposite. Okay, while they're speaking and they're having their points and someone interrupts them, they'll just start responding to the new point. If it's important, they might prevent others from interrupting. But generally, when you talk to introverts and you just bring up another topic, they'll just start rambling off base of that topic. It's quite interesting to watch. If you just don't talk around them, they'll just go on and on about the same topic for ages. And it's quite impressive to see how much they actually comes out of them. But it's also kind of frustrating as well because they it's it's like they don't know when to change topics, which can be kind of frustrating for someone like me that's extrovert. And then same with introverts, they probably get frustrated with extroverts when it's they don't know how to stay on topic. where they're constantly just changing topics all over the place. So introverts, they generally tend to think before speaking. They process ideas internally first, especially the introverted thinkers. They prefer reflection time. Response to initiation. This is very much the main point. Okay, so this is the difference between antisocial, shy. No, these guys can participate in conversations. It's just how they respond to conversations or initiate. Doesn't finish their point when another person into topic is initiated. This is very true. If I just interrupt someone, they'll just follow what I say. Really, mind-blowing examples, not really mind-blowing, but the charismatic introvert. Picture a world-famous performer who captivates thousands on stage. They respond brilliantly to the audience's energy and interview questions, but rarely initiate conversations backstage. Okay, they're magnetic responders, not shy wallflowers. The reclusive extrovert, this is kind of like Destiny. Imagine a gamer who starts every online chat, initiates guild discussions, and organizes virtual events, but rarely leaves their apartment. They're natural conversation starters who happen to prefer digital spaces. This is pretty much, yeah, this pretty much sums up extroverts. Obviously, if extroverts want to start conversations, they'll naturally go seek it. Whereas introverts, since they're responders and they don't really care about initiating, they may stay inside, sure, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they are automatically antisocial or shy. Why we got it so wrong? Historical mix-up. I think a lot of people labels and judgments. They just assume that if someone's inside a lot, they are introverted, and so and mainly, I guess the modern MBTI kind of failed in identifying the differences and trying to separate itself from mainstream understanding of introversion and extroversion. Really, when it comes to the four-letter system and the first two letters, which is I and E, they should have really pushed hard to clarify the difference. But now I think majority of people, if you're watching this and you've taken just a 16 personalities test, you would think just extrovert and introverts based on outgoing and antisocial, which sucks. The test is kind of crap and it's kind of led to a lot of false information. So Western culture often equates quiet with shy and talkative confident. We've been using the wrong measuring stick for decades. Um, yeah, so it's pretty much, actually, I think that had a good point. Yeah. The party animal extrovert and the bookish introvert, reality is far more nuanced. Yeah, that's very true. Okay, wrong self advice. People follow misguided development tips. Introverts force themselves to be more outgoing when they should optimize their natural response flow. Yes, this is very true. You don't necessarily need to be outgoing. It's just more so in a conversation, maybe just initiate more topics when you are in a conversation instead of just relying on extroverts trying to initiate all the time. And vice versa, if you're an extrovert, try to respond to topics instead of just initiating. That's mainly, or try to stay on topic before bringing up a new point. Can be very frustrating if you listen to an extrovert and then you can never get a productive conversation because every 5 seconds they're just talking about the new thing. And now I guess it's okay because everyone's attention span is quite short. So if people change topic, it's fine. But really, it's not. It's not good. It's not good for your development. How to spot your true type in the conversation test in group settings. Do you naturally start discussions or wait for others to begin? So yeah, once just really, it's when you start talking, how do you interact? You can be quiet, you might not be initiating. I know me naturally as an extrovert, when it is quiet, I will talk, but really, once you start talking to someone, you can kind of pick up if you're initiating or responding into or staying on topic. Watch your instinctive behavior, not your forced behavior. So, do you naturally, instinctually want to change the topic, or just do you gain energy when you're talking to other people? Whereas introverts, I think the more people around them, they tend to get tired because it means more people that they have to deal with their needs. Whereas extroverts, it's more other people dealing with your needs. Do you get bored when the topic has not changed for a while? That means you're most likely extrovert. Do you find yourself responding to what people bring up? The thinking style. Do you talk to figure out what you think or think to figure out what to say? Okay. Extroverts process externally, introverts process internally. Yep. So sometimes extroverts just talk just for the sake of talking, just to get their thoughts out. And introverts do the opposite. Energy flow. Does your mental energy go when engaging, initiating interactions, or crafting thoughtful responses? Okay, so introverts does not necessarily mean antisocial. Extroverts does not necessarily mean loud. MBTI equals interaction style. Okay, it's how you naturally engage with the world. Time to rethink everything. Are you really what you thought? Okay. Now that you know the real difference between introverts and extroverts, it's time to re examine your own type. You might discover you've been misunderstanding yourself and others this whole time. Okay. So maybe you have more extroverts around you than you think you have, and maybe you have more introverts around you than you think you are. So thank you. I have a for this, I'll finish up with I have a school community. So if you want to join, it's about the MBTI. And then I also have this YouTube channel as well. So if you found this interesting, subscribe.